Hey there, give me 5 minutes and I'll tell you my Timothy Busfield story. And it has nothing to do with what's going on in the world today. I'll get to that at the end. My name is Tommy G. Kendrick, and back in 1984, I was a struggling young actor in Hollywood, California, having come out from Dallas with a raft of commercial credits. So I signed with a top commercial agent literally the first week I was in town. And then they sent me out finally on a commercial audition. I booked that sucker and I was off and running doing commercials and doing great. However, at that time, the acting business, on-camera acting business, was really segmented. There were three distinct tiers, and they didn't usually cross-pollinate too much. At the top, of course, was feature film business, and in the middle was television business, and at the bottom of the ladder was the commercial business. And if you were a commercial actor with no theatrical credits, the theatrical agents couldn't care less. They just were not interested. And that's the place I found myself. So I struggled to get a theatrical agent, even though I had great commercial representation from the get-go in LA. Well, I finally signed with this young agent who has been a sub-agent with another group who had those agents had retired, and he went out on his own, and he decided to sign me, which I was thankful for, and we went to work right away. Pretty quickly after signing with him, I booked an episode of Bay City Blues, a television show about a baseball team that was produced by Stephen Bochco. If you know, surely you know that name. He was very famous at the time for Hill Street Blues, among other things, and it was great to get on a Bochco show. It's turned out to be kind of a nightmare, and I'll get into that in another video sometimes if you'd like to hear it. It's kind of a funny story, but kind of a nightmare too. Anyway, I was looking at the breakdowns, as all actors did in those days, pretty much. We were purloining the breakdowns and looking at them illegally, I'm sorry to say. But we would look at the breakdowns, and then we'd call our agents and say, hey, did you submit me on this and this and this and this? So I call my agent and say, hey, did you see the breakdown for Trapper John, M.D.? This was a show starring Pernell Roberts of Bonanza fame. And in case, for those of you who don't know who Pernell Roberts was, that's him on the end. We got the Bonanza cast, Hoss Cartwright, Paul Cartwright, Little Joe Cartwright, and Adam Cartwright, who is Pernell Roberts. So there we go. That's Pernell Roberts. And he was doing this show, Trapper John, M.D., that was a spinoff of MASH. And surely you know that show. So anyway, about several seasons in, they were going to cast a new character playing his son. And I read the breakdown for this, and I thought, man, I am right for this. I called my agent and said, have you seen the breakdown for Trapper John, M.D.? There's a role I am perfect for. It's a recurring role, and you got to get me in on this because this is the biggest thing I will have read for, and this would be great for both of us. He said, well, let me look at it. I'll call you back in a bit. So I wait, and finally he does call me back, and he says, Tommy, I cannot submit you for this. And I was really stunned and surprised. And I said, well, why not? And he said, well, because you don't look anything like Pernell Roberts. And I said, dude, this is television. Do you really think Pernell Roberts looked like Little Joe or Hoss or Ben? I mean, this is television. It doesn't go like that. It doesn't matter. And he said, no, I won't submit you for this. And so sorry, no, can't do it. It was harm my reputation. And I said, your reputation, you've been open 6 months. You don't have a reputation. Your reputation should be, I fight for my actors. So come on, please do this. No, can't do it. So he wouldn't do it, so I did it. I went and took my picture by the casting office. And, of course, I did not get an audition. And even if I had, the likelihood that I would have been cast are pretty remote compared to Timothy Busfield did a fantastic job. I didn't even know who Timothy Busfield was at the time. And so when he came on, the previews came on in the fall, and I saw Timothy Busfield, I jumped up out of my chair and screamed to my wife, Jane. I said, look who they cast. I mean, I know we're not twins or anything, but we're in the same ballpark, for heaven's sake. We are in the same ballpark, and I could have done this role. I call my agent up and I say, have you seen who they cast as Trapper John's son on Trapper John, M.D.? And he said, no. And I said, well, it was Timothy Busfield. And by the way, you're fired. So maybe not my kindest thing I've ever done, but it really, I couldn't do it. And so I went my merry way, and he was none the sadder for it, I'm sure. But anyway, so that was Timothy Busfield, 1984-ish. He's 27 years old there on the left, in the middle with Pernell Roberts on the show, and that's me on the right. At the same time, I'm about 34 years old in that picture, but that was my Timothy Busfield story. So now about Timothy Busfield. There's a lot of stuff going on with this guy's life right now, and none of it is good. If the allegations, then you know what they are. I'm not going to go into them here. If they're true, then he should be punished and he should pay. But if they're not true, then he should not pay, and he's already paying. His agency dropped him. Television show cut him out. A film cut him out. He's already done the work. He's had a terrible price to pay, and if he did what they're saying he did, or somebody's saying he did, then he should pay. But if he didn't do it, he should not pay, and we need to make sure before we judge him guilty that we know what all the facts are. Too many people in recent years who've had their lives, careers, marriages, financial conditions ruined because of allegations and rumors, and it's just not right. So let's tap the brakes, step back. There's plenty of time to call him every name in the book if he deserves it, but right now he deserves the benefit of the doubt, and he is innocent until proven guilty. And that's my preaching on the matter. Hey, look me up on all the Instagram and Facebook and all those social media places at Tommy G. Kendrick. This is, for all you people who want to be actors, this is what the acting business will do for you. That's me at about 34, and that's me current day. And, I still love the business, and I hope you'll look me up on social media. God bless you. Take care. I appreciate you spending this time with me, and see you down the road. God bless. Take care. Bye. Woo!